Hi, this is lesson number 11 about how to use OpenGL in Java, and I will show you how to use transparency. So let's open Eclipse and create a new Java package. It will be new package, lesson 11. And let's copy two files from previous lesson to a new one. Paste them here. Of course, I need to change a caption of our frame, of our window. So, caption is, let's find it, lesson, find, it's here. So, what I need to do now is to implement some changes in our world class and its object class. So let's create here a new field. It will be public transparency enabled. It will be boolean, and by default it will be false. Okay. So each object will have this field, transparency enable, and this property will define why do we need to display it in transparent mode or not. So what we need to do now is to implement blending. So let's go to the init method. It will be more better if we will go into init in our descendant class. So here we will use g.gl enable gl2.gl underscore blend. Okay, so we've done this. We've done this, and after that we also need to disable another feature. Disable gl def test. Okay. And what we need also to do is to implement a blend function. It will be g.gl blend function. It will take two arguments, gl2 gl underscore slc alpha and gl2 dot gl underscore 1. Okay, and so we also will use a g dot gl color for f. Here we will use 1 1 1 and no dot 4, for example. This tells OpenGL that that the white color will be transparent for 40%. So what is wrong here? Okay, is it good? I think so. Okay, so let's try to start our application and see how it works. Let's start our auto rotation. You see that our features are now transparent. both our cubes are transparent. So let's implement some more changes in our engine. Let's cut these lines from init method and copy them to, let's save this, and copy them to our 3D engine app root. In the draw object 4D, we will use a case if object 4D dot transparency enabled with transparency enabled, then we will use these lines. Also, we need to revert our changes to disable this and enable this. Okay. So by default we set that there are transparency for our object equals to false. Then if we run this application now again, we will see that our objects are not transparent. And for example, we need to make a big one transparent and the small one not transparent. What we need to do is to go to the main app Java class and to init method where we create our world. And in this world 3D creation process, we will use that for our first object 4D, transparency will be enabled. So we will set it to true. Okay. After that, we will run our application again and see that our main big cube is transparent and the small one is not. Let's try to rotate these features. You see that? Okay. So you can make some chain tests also, and let's, for example, move a small object inside a big one. So what we need to do is to go to our world creation process, and here you see there is a cycle which moves our points to the left. So we need to comment these lines. Okay, and run our application again. So you see now that our small object is placed inside the big one. So let's rotate big object. Okay, and now I will show you how to increase and decrease transparency. So let's create a shortcut handlers. So let's copy this. We will use VKT. It will transparency. Sorry. Transparency delta. It will decrease it with 1 and 0. Not like, yeah, okay. We need to create this value, this variable. It will be here, private float equals to null, and we will create another handler where it will be G where this value will be incremented by 0.1. So after that, we can use this transparency delta in our display method. With our display method, here's our display method, and we can set that transparency volt for d dot get objects dot get zero object dot transparency enabled and transparency value. So we need to define a transparency value here, public float transparency equals to 1 by default, or maybe we need to use 0.5 here. So after that, we will use this transparency property in our world draw object for D. So we will use it here. Object for D in our method draw object for D dot transparency. Okay. And we can change value. So let's delete this line because we don't need it anymore, and in our handler we will not use transparency delta, because let's go let's delete this and let's use the more easiest way. We will use world for d dot objects dot get object with index 0, or we can use a cycle here for int e equals to null, assign null to int e int I less than world for d dot object dot length I plus plus, and here we will use this index and get this object and set its transparency to value less. Let's subtract 0.1 from transparency here, and let's add 0.1 to transparency here. It is one quick length. Maybe size. Okay, size. Okay, size. Let's run and see how it works. So now we have a new keys in our application. They are T and G, and using them we can make our object more transparent or not. You see that when I decrease transparency to null, object disappeared. Well, I increase it to 1, it is shining. So why object inside this big one, why a small object isn't transparent? Because we disabled transparency for it. Because transparency is disabled by default for all objects, and we enabled transparency. Here you can see that transparency disabled for all, and in the world creation process we enabled it only for a big object. So okay, and what are another three values in a GL car for F? This is a color of the transparency. What does it mean? That is 1, 1, and 1. This is RGB colors, and one value is a maximum value for color. It means that the white color will be transparent. So if we need to make another color transparent, we need to specify RGB values here. Okay. So this was lesson number 11. You can join me on Facebook groups Lea Randy, ask me questions, and have a lot of fun. Bye.